Most barbers cut hair. Clinton Wright cut lives short. In a busy unisex salon in New York City, scissors snipped, blow dryers hummed, and secrets spilled. Women talked. Clinton listened. And when the stories turned dark, tales of bruises hidden under makeup, of children violated, of hands that should protect becoming weapons, Clinton took notes. Not in a book, in his mind, because Clinton Wright believed he was born for one purpose: to be the protector women never had. The question isn't whether he succeeded, it's whether a killer with good intentions is still just a killer. Clinton was 32, handsome in an unremarkable way, the kind of face you'd forget 5 minutes after leaving his chair. He wore crisp button-downs, kept his station immaculate, and never interrupted when clients spoke. That last part, that was his superpower. He just got it, you know. One regular would later tell police, "I could tell him anything." And they did. Between highlighting appointments and razor fades, the salon became a confessional. A woman mentioned her sister's boyfriend, how he drank too much, how the walls were too thin, how the bruises were getting harder to explain. Another whispered about a man in her building, the way he looked at children in the elevator, the complaints that went nowhere. Clinton nodded, sympathized, offered tissues when tears came. Then he went hunting. His method was research, obsessive, meticulous research. He'd scroll through social media profiles, noting patterns, where they drank, when they walked home alone, who would miss them, and more importantly, who wouldn't. He wasn't impulsive. Impulsive killers get caught. Clinton was a planner. And in New York City, a place where people disappear into crowds and tragedy hides in plain sight, he found the perfect hunting ground. Here's what makes Clinton Wright terrifying. He genuinely believed he was one of the good guys. Not believed in that quiet, doubtful way most vigilantes do. No, Clinton had the unshakable certainty of a true believer. In his mind, he wasn't a murderer. He was a solution. Society's courts were too slow, too forgiving, too broken. But Clinton delivered justice in real time. Psychologists have a term for this: malignant altruism. It's the twisted belief that violence can be virtuous if aimed at the right targets. It's what lets someone take a life and sleep soundly afterward. Because in Clinton's world, he wasn't taking lives, he was saving them. His victims had a profile: domestic abusers, predators, men, and yes, sometimes women, who harmed the vulnerable. And crucially, they were drinkers. Because alcohol didn't just make them vulnerable, it made their deaths look explainable. A drunk stumbling into traffic? Tragic, but not suspicious. A drunk falling down subway stairs? Happens every week in New York. A drunk found in an alley? Head trauma consistent with a fall? Just another cautionary tale about the dangers of excessive drinking. Clinton studied their routines like a professional. He knew which bars they frequented, what time they stumbled out, which routes home were darkest and least monitored by cameras. He dressed in forgettable clothing, hoodies, generic jackets, nothing distinctive. He wore gloves. He never left DNA. And his alibi? Always airtight. Working late at the salon, drinks with colleagues who'd swear he was there all night, receipts time-stamped and saved, security footage showing him miles away. Because here's the thing about Clinton. He understood that the perfect murder isn't about how you kill someone, it's about how you didn't. The night he targeted Marcus Chen, Clinton felt nothing but calm. Marcus was a regular drinker at a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen, also a regular terror to his girlfriend, according to the salon client whose collarbone Marcus had fractured 3 weeks prior. The police report went nowhere. The girlfriend recanted. The system failed. But Clinton never did. He waited outside the bar, hood up, hands in pockets. When Marcus emerged, stumbling, slurring, alone, Clinton followed at a distance. Not too close, never too close. Just a shadow in a city full of shadows. Marcus took his usual shortcut through a construction area. Unlit, unstable, perfect. Clinton increased his pace. Marcus never heard him coming. One calculated push near a concrete barrier, a sickening crack, and Marcus Chen's reign of terror was over. Clinton checked for a pulse, there was none, and then he did something chilling. He smiled. Not a cruel smile, not a triumphant one. It was the smile of someone checking off a to-do list. Satisfied, purposeful, complete. He arranged the body to look like a drunken fall, scattered some empty bottles nearby, and walked away. By the time Marcus was found the next morning, Clinton was opening the salon, greeting clients with his usual warmth, asking about their weekends. The police ruled it an accidental death within 48 hours. Clinton operated for nearly 3 years. The exact body count remains unknown. Estimates range from 8 to 15 victims, each death carefully staged. Each investigation concluding with the same tragic but unsuspicious verdict: accidental death. But even the most careful predator makes mistakes. His undoing came from the very place that empowered him, the salon. A new stylist named Rebecca started noticing patterns. How certain clients would mention dangerous men in their lives, and weeks later, those same men would turn up dead in accidents. How Clinton always seemed particularly interested in these stories. How his questions were always just a little too specific. She didn't go to the police immediately, she wasn't sure, but she started keeping her own notes. And when a client's abusive ex-husband died falling off a subway platform just 3 days after the client had mentioned him to Clinton, Rebecca knew. She went to the NYPD with her suspicions. Initially, they were skeptical. A barber who kills drunk abusers? It sounded like a Netflix pitch, not a real investigation. But when detectives started pulling the threads, the pattern became impossible to ignore. The surveillance footage Clinton thought he'd avoided, captured at the edges of frames, the alibis he'd constructed, crumbled under deeper scrutiny, the digital footprint of his research, recoverable. When they arrested Clinton Wright on a Tuesday morning at the salon, he didn't resist, didn't seem surprised. In fact, witnesses say he looked almost relieved. At his trial, Clinton's defense argued diminished capacity, a savior complex, childhood trauma that warped his moral compass. The prosecution called him what he was, a serial killer who chose vulnerable victims and hid behind a veneer of righteousness. Clinton never denied what he did, but he never apologized either. "I protected people the system abandoned," he said during his testimony. "I made the city safer. Those men, those abusers, they were the real monsters. I just removed them." The jury deliberated for 6 hours, guilty on 8 counts of murder. He's currently serving multiple life sentences without the possibility of parole. But here's what keeps investigators up at night. Clinton Wright operated in one of the most surveilled cities in the world for 3 years before anyone noticed. How many others are out there convinced their violence is virtuous? How many accidents aren't accidents at all? Clinton once told a reporter, "Everyone thinks they'd recognize a killer. They think we look different, act different, but we don't. We look like your barber, your neighbor, your coworker. We look like people who care." He was right about that. The scariest monsters don't hide in shadows. They hide in plain sight, scissors in one hand, righteousness in the other, absolutely convinced they're the hero of the story, even when they're covered in blood. Subscribe to explore the minds of those who believe their darkest impulses are justified, because understanding the psychology of killers isn't about glorification, it's about recognition. And in a world where predators wear the mask of protectors, recognition might be the only thing keeping you safe.